And then we've got the zakat, which is the charity. So that's obligatory on every, like obligation on every Muslim that has enough money to give some of their wealth that they've been blessed with to the poor, right? So that, you know, it keeps, it doesn't, you know, so we're always giving charity every year, yeah? And then finally there's the Hajj, which is the pilgrimage that you're meant to make at least once in your life.
Yeah,
if you're to Mecca, great, yeah, if you're able to. And then the Psalm, fasting is not the last one, but it's one of the 5. And, you know, we have Ramadan. That's like the obligatory fast. Okay, so every Muslim has to do that from the age of puberty. But of course, you can fast outside of Ramadan. Why? Well, there's a lot of different reasons for fasting. There's tons of benefits. Okay.
Yeah.
If we look at from a scientific perspective,
the science
there's crazy evidence. Yeah, there's crazy. From the religious perspective, it's for to increase in taqwa. Okay, so you're in such a state, right, where you're hungry, where you're so helpless, right? Your taqwa increases, your trust in God increases,
right.
Your piety increases, and you know, a lot of non-Muslims, of course. Have you tried fasting yourself? Okay, yeah. So you might have experienced that kind of.
I'm very tired.
Yeah. But you also do feel a bit more, like perhaps more spiritual, more closer to God in that sense.
I understand.
Yeah, so there's that aspect to it as well. And then there's also understanding what the poor go through, in the sense that, you know.
So it's how long is Ramadan?
So it's a whole month, so it's about 29 or 30 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you eat after the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Your family.
Yeah.
Community.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, you wake up in the morning before it's sunrise,
Yeah.
and you have a meal then as well.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, so you have 2. You have one before sunrise.
And can you drink water?
No.
No water, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I'm just trying to understand my friends and my colleagues who go through it. And so if I finalises in Eid.
Yeah, so basically after the days of fasting are done,
Yeah.
we have that one day of Eid,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And that's just again to mark the end of Ramadan, and it serves as one of the 2 celebrations we have in the Islamic calendar.
Right.
So yeah.
What's the other one?
So Eid al-Adha is, so we have Eid al-Fitr, that's the one at the end of Ramadan. Then we have Eid al-Adha, and that's the one where we sacrifice an animal. I don't know if you, so that's a bit after. So that's probably going to be coming up in a while. And yeah, we just sacrifice an animal. Again, it's to kind of remember the incident with Ibrahim alayhi salam. So Prophet Ibrahim, where he was told to sacrifice.
I'm guessing you fast. What are you at school?
Yeah. So
Is it hard to concentrate while you're at school when you're fasting?
I wouldn't say it's hard. You get used to it.
You get used to it.
Yeah, you do get used to
How old
it.
were you when you first went for Ramadan?
So my full Ramadan, I can't remember exactly, but it's probably when I was like 10, 11. Yeah, that's when I done my first one.
I guess obviously I'm conscious with my colleagues and my friends who are going through it, particularly through Ramadan. It's really hard to concentrate.
Yeah.
Particularly towards the end of the day when you're really hungry.
Yeah,
and you
true.
can't drink water as well.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you like? What religion would you say you associate yourself with?
I don't associate with. I would say I'm agnostic.
Agnostic.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do believe there's a God.
Yes.
Okay.
Could be more than one, but I believe there's a higher power for sure.
Okay, so that's really a big point. Okay, in Islam, we only believe there's one God. Okay, that's what sets Islam apart from every other religion. Every other religion, there's some form of, you know, other power,
Is it
something in between.
Christianity believe in one God?
No, so again, you have the Trinity, which is a concept which isn't understood even till today. Yeah, but 3 in 1, 1 in 3, I would say that's 3.
Right.
Yeah, and less 1 and more 3 in that sense.
Okay.
So yeah, Islam is the only religion where we just have one God, okay? And there's no in between, so we're not worshipping idols in order to get to God. We're not worshipping graves to get to God. We're not doing other kind of stuff. It's directly a connection between you and your Creator.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Jazakallahu khair for tuning in. We hope you're enjoying this video and benefiting from it. Something that's come to our attention, what we've noticed is nearly 90% of our viewers are not subscribed to this channel. We want to make you guys aware that One True Message Foundation is completely non-for-profit. We are a non-profit organization, and subsequently we've turned off all advertising on YouTube. What we need you guys to do is share the khair with us, subscribe, like, and share this video to anybody else that you think may benefit. A small action, but we want you guys to share the reward and help spread the one true message. Jazakumullahu khair, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for multiple gods, the thing with multiple, like the logical argument against that is, you know, if there were multiple gods, then we wouldn't have the harmony that we see in the universe. Okay? So if we have two gods, one god might say, you know, I want it to be daytime right now. Yeah, and then the other god might be like, no, I want it to be night.
I understand what you're trying to do. You
Yeah.
put some logic onto it.
Yeah.
I would say that if there was a higher power, which I believe there is, then logic does not apply. They're on a completely different realm and like a level of thinking which we can't comprehend.
Okay.
And I guess my issue with any organised religion is you're trying to put into logic something which we'll never be able to understand. And as with most religions, I think Islam's a really good way of teaching an individual to follow certain guidelines and a way of life which makes you a better person ultimately.
Yeah.
However, that being said, as with any religion, you can take it to extremes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I would say that then a lot of those actions fall out of what the religion teaches.
Agreed.
So, you know, I wouldn't put that on the religion. Again, when we're...
No, I completely agree.
Yeah. When we're,
Blaming the religion.
even...
Blaming the individual.
Yeah, even myself, like, I'm also on a journey, just like everybody else. You know, I look into different religions, I see, okay, what's being taught. But whenever I'm researching, I always go to the source and not the people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So I'm not going to look at, what are Christian people doing nowadays? Well, you know, they might not be following Christianity properly.
Yeah.
They might be doing all sorts of sins that Christianity doesn't teach. So they aren't the perfect reflection of what Christianity preaches, right?
Yeah.
So I'd go to the Bible and I'd read that. And I would critique that instead of the people. So same thing with Islam, you know, I would say go to the text, you know, read the Quran.
But that again, that goes to my previous point. You're still trying to write down and codify something which is hard to do. Now, this like the Bible and any other religious text is guidelines. Right?
Yeah.
And they're really useful in that respect. I just think that I'd like to have this as a single book of like truth. I think maybe goes against the idea that God is indefinable and hard to calculate.
Oh, okay. So I kind of get where you're coming from, but you see, the way we've all been created for a purpose, right? Okay, like everything else in the universe, everything else has been created for a reason, just as we are, okay? It's kind of common sense, you know. Your clothes are created so that we can, you know, cover our bodies, hide ourselves, you know, everything has a purpose. A house is there so that we can, you know, seek shelter in it. The trees are there for different things, the ecosystem, everything. Like everything links in, it all has a reason that it's there. Same thing with humans, yeah? Same thing with humanity. We have a purpose, we have a reason why we're here. And we believe that reason is, you know, to worship God. This is a test, okay? God is trying to see how loyal we are to Him, okay? Whether we turn back to Him. Yes, we're all sinners, yeah? Yes, we all make mistakes, but who of us will turn back to God and be like, okay, I made this mistake, I'll try to be better. Okay, so that's what our purpose in life is, to turn back to God, worship Him alone. And, you know, when we're talking about how we're gonna come to that decision of, okay, not decision, but how we're gonna critique religion, we have to, I know what you mean by God is like, we can't like define God, because God is greater than us, yeah, our brains can't comprehend Him. But we're not being asked to comprehend God. We're being asked to find our own purpose, okay? So that's something we can do. God's given us the tools.
This is a vehicle in which people can do that.
Yeah, see, so, and like, it's not just the Quran or any like holy text. It's, for example, the human brain. God has made us like conscious enough for us to find our purpose, okay? He hasn't left us without any tools, right? We have all the tools we need. We have our eyes, we have our, you know, our brains to think, we have our mouths to speak, listen to others, ears, all of these things are there to help us come to that conclusion of why we're here. Okay, what's our purpose? So that's.
What's your name?
Ayan. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Ayan.
Yeah,
You're
good.
You're very mature.
Thank you. No, it's a pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Take it. You too.